Thanks for joining, everybody. It's nice to see new faces and lots of familiar faces joining and to see the room filling up. Thank you. It's been a busy week and they seem to be getting busier all the time. So it's really helpful that we can get together here and share updates on what's going on. So I'd like to start us off right off the bat with an update on ranked choice voting with Darlene Hennessy. She's co-chairman of the PIME ranked choice voting effort here in Michigan. We educate people on what this means, and PIME is opposed to ranked choice voting. So Darlene, tell us what's going on.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Beautifully, yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. Hi, everybody, and thank you, Patrice. So we have kind of a lot going on, but we're kind of getting a little more organized. And so I'm going to tell you about how things are separate and how we have different tasks for different people that are running them. So the palm cards, which we have ready for handout, is you get that through the PIME ranked choice voting. So it would be rcvwarning.org, and that will get you to the page, or you can go to Pure Integrity Michigan, and it will bring it. There is a tab now that'll take you to the RSV page, and then you can volunteer, and there's a place to sign up. And Jackie and Sherry are running that section. And then we're going to be having town halls going around the state of Michigan, separated into sections, like the UP, upper part of the mitt, the thumb, and different areas as you get into the little more population that's more like Wayne or Oakland may be alone, or they may compare Wayne with Monroe. So it's going to be separated so they'll be able to get, they're planning, I think it's 10, and that is Sherry and Jackie will be doing that. So I am doing outreach and education, and I have been reaching out to a lot of the different areas, chairs and district chairs, about doing resolutions. I've also reached out to a lot of different groups, clubs and stuff like that about coming and speaking at the there, or getting them information, telling them where they can find information off of the PIME website, and resolutions, which is going to be Melanie Nevelt. I think that's how her name is spelled. So Melanie Nevelt will be helping get resolutions with different areas, besides doing them through an organization, possibly doing through commissions, county commissions, and commissioners and stuff like that. So we want to reach out, and to anybody that's running for office, we want to make sure that they are going to be ones that would oppose it. And I am, let's see what else here. I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. Oh, I know the Rank My Vote people have been out at like American Legion or Rotary clubs. So we're going to try starting to get information from them to see if we can have either somebody come to talk, or ask them about if they already know about it, and if you can hear my dog, please let me know and I'll stop and come back.
No, we can't hear the dog, just ignore it.
Okay. Well, he's pretty loud over here next to me. So anyway, what other things we're doing is, there's going to be a media education tour that's going to be run by Christine and Jeff. So they're going to involve the grassroots groups and legacy media to get information out. The other thing is Jackie is going to be starting to work when she can with the colleges, because from what we've heard, and there's an article that was written, that college kids are really thinking this is a cool way to vote. So there is a lot of issues, that involve ranked choice voting that make it much more difficult, more expensive, harder for people to understand. And we want to make sure that everybody is aware of those, are aware of those things that can cause problems for voting. Let me think if there was anything else? Oh, the other thing is, they were out. The Rank My Vote people were out in mass over the weekend everywhere. They were down at Easter Market. In fact, a friend of mine was down there at Easter Market in Detroit, and she said she went up to them and asked them to explain it to them. And they said, "Well, you just, mark your ballot in order of who you like." And they go, "Well, what if I don't like them?" "Well, then you don't have to mark them." And she goes, "Well, what happens if I don't mark all of them?" Well, I'm not really sure what happens in that way. They really were not able to help educate their point on what was so good about it, because she asked what was so good about it. And I had a friend out at the Ann Arbor Art Fair, and that she asked some questions. "Please tell me what this is about and why I should change." And some of them goes, "I really don't know. I'm just gathering signatures." So they have some people that are not very well aware of what the program is about. So we just want to make sure we want to get it out to anybody and everywhere. And I'll be starting to have some Zoom meetings for the people in Wayne or outside of Wayne if they want to come. But we're going to work on ways to make sure that everybody is understanding what this is about. The other thing is that with education, we don't need to panic. So that this has happened in 7 other states with a ballot proposal. All of them did get their ballot except for one. All of them did get their ballot proposal on the proposal put onto the ballot. Except one, and because it was combined with marijuana legalization, and so theirs didn't go through. But the other ones did. I'm sorry, there were 8, and 7 of them did get it through to the ballot, and they were all voted down. So even though it seems like we need to rush and get out there and do everything, we do need to do that, but we do have time, because not one of them that ever had a ballot proposal did not make it to the ballot. So we still have time, and our hardest work is going to be once it has been put onto the ballot. We can work hard so that maybe people won't sign it, but they're looking for 611,000 signatures, and they're probably going to get that. And so what our action should be is to educate. Hopefully people will understand the dangers of it and make good choices if they are approached by someone. And then the other thing is, once it is through, we really need to make sure that people understand the dangers of having it for all sorts of reasons.
Great. Thank you very much, Darlene. And Darlene is our Wayne County leader, so she wears a lot of hats, works really hard. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you.
Yep.
Next up is Tracy Owen, and Tracy has a really fun job. She takes the stuff that we produce and makes social media posts out of it. She clips it and crops it, and it's not an easy job. It takes a lot of time. Tracy, you want to read us in on what you're doing? You're muted, Tracy.
I have it unmuted. Does it work? Okay.
Yep.
I'm just going to try to pull up a couple of clips that we have been sharing the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to try to share my screen. I know last time the volume was not coming through. Let me know if you're seeing this post. Are you seeing?
No,
screen?
not seeing anything. Not seeing anything yet. I'll tell you what, Tracy, why don't we skip you for now? We'll come back to you. We'll have Tim go now, and maybe you and Isaac could work together to get it ready to pop up. Okay, go ahead, Tim.
Okay. Sounds good.
Patrice, thank you for the opportunity to present on behalf of the DEEP team. I'm going to crank right through all this, so hang on. DEEP is a subgroup to Michigan Fair Elections. DEEP stands for Data Evaluation of Election Processes, and I'm going to just put for we haven't read our mission in a while, so I'm going to just do that real quick. We assess election and voter data for accuracy and consistency using world-class systems. That's key. We then recommend actions based on state election laws to ensure every legal vote is counted, reinforcing trust in the democratic process. We did present to the state of Michigan on June 3rd, Braden, myself, both deep members, and highlighted a lot of content that was very important about our vote history records and the manipulation of our data records. And just, we call it the Frankenstein reporting. I won't talk much about that. What I am going to cover, and what's hot on the internet, is this DOJ letter in Michigan. I'm going to tell you what's not in it. And then I'm going to cover items 2 through 5 as well here, hopefully. And Patrice, if I go long, cut me off, please.
Oh, I will.
So, I know you will. Thank you. So what I want to start off with is that there are certain election laws, and I know Kevin is in this call, so he'll take notice of this as well. There are laws in Michigan laws that allow Detroit to cheat with their absentee ballot counting boards. Only Detroit has specific laws saying you're allowed to combine your precincts into a county board, and you're not required, like everyone else in the state, to report your results per precinct, because they consider a counting board a precinct, only during special times. I'm going to show you what that looks like in here. So this is the type of data that our group looks into. So what you're going to see here is that this is the 2020 election. We have the same information for 2022 and 2024. So what you'll see with the 500 plus counting boards from Detroit, they group them up into counting boards. In this example, precincts 1, 2, and 3, as you see here, are on counting board number 72. And of course, we can sort by precinct, we can sort by counting board. If you look here, this is how they organize the information in 2022. Completely different format. There's no consistency. They mix it up. And of course they mix it up because they don't want us tracking any kind of history from counting board to counting board. And as you can see here in 2024, precincts 1, 2, and 4 are on counting board 37, whereas it was 72 in the past. Different precincts, different counting board numbers. It's chaos, and that's by design. So let me swing on to how we use this data. How do we use this data? So what you're going to see here is because they don't report vote results by counting by precinct, we can't divide up what you see right here. Counting board number 1, there were 1,506 votes. Spread over, looks like 5 different precincts. All right, precincts, this is counting board number 1. So as you look at this data, we can only look at one counting board for each election. We can't compare the counting board in election in the 2020 election to the 2022 or 2024. But what does that look like when it comes to how they how many voters are missing? They throw out these enormous vote counts out of Detroit, but look at these numbers. When we actually do the data analysis to compare the list of voters to the vote counts, we're seeing hundreds of voters missing. They throw out these numbers. This is how many people voted for this individual, but yet they don't have the people to back it up or the ability to audit this information because they won't give you the poll book information, right? So with that information, I want to highlight this letter from the DOJ. It's just now hot. It's coming out. And I'm going to summarize this 3-page letter by saying this information is a focus on cleaning up the vote registration record. Yes, that's very important. However, what's not in this letter, and I did some keywords, keyword of audit, that's not in here. History is in one time, but they're only looking for the vote history of bad registration, right? there's nothing in here with the poll book, nothing in here about a list of voters from any past election. There is so much data and data analysis that groups like DEEP and other groups that have been tracking these past elections, none of that's in this request from Jocelyn Benson and the BOE. So what is in this letter is we have a name, and that name is right here, who is the acting chief voting section. She from the Civil Rights Division, and we have an email. So I'll be working with Jeff, and in conjunction with MFEI, we're going to offer all this information to them in a outstanding package set, so that the DOJ will have a lot of information that we consider valuable. These are all what we believe are violations of law, and that's not for us to determine. We need the DOJ to determine whether laws were violated, federal law, federal, not state. And so this is an outstanding start, but there's a lot of opportunity for improvement. So that's my assessment with.
If I could just add my 2 cents here, Tim, I think what's interesting in the letter is that they seem to be maybe perhaps unaware of state law here in Michigan. For example, you don't have to be competent to vote in Michigan. There's no adjudicated incompetent issue that we can address, other than if they go into nursing homes and somebody votes for them, that's illegal. But you do not have to demonstrate competency to vote in Michigan. The other thing, you can be a felon as well too, as long as you're not currently incarcerated. So I think they maybe did this too fast and didn't really do the research that they needed to know what the Michigan laws are. Because these are very important questions to have answered. What they need to know is what felons are currently incarcerated and should not be on the voter rolls.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Patrice. In addition to that, as you pointed out, with state law, that also applies with federal law. In other words, what data will the state of Michigan be giving to the DOJ? What they're not going to be giving them, or I can't assume, but they certainly don't give it to us, is the vote method. Whether they voted absentee, in person, they've been scrubbing that information for the last 2 years. We believe that's a violation of FOIA. And I can go on and on and on about all these different things that have happened in the last couple of years. One more example, they completely changed the absentee ballot tracking report, and they removed from the ability to audit ballot IDs and other things. This is data that we've all received in the past, but is now restricted information because our state of Michigan believes, differently from the rest of the United States, the state of Michigan believes we don't have a right to have this information. Utterly shocking. So thank you, Patrice, for that update. So I'm going to now focus on our recent FOIA. Keep in mind, this is our second go around at this. Why did we FOIA 83 counties back in November? Because our state of Michigan, we've been going after them for making sure that when they produce a list of voters, it's accurate. Well, when they kicked out the list of voters in November, they kicked it out December 1st. They didn't include the election. So DEEP, realizing that, we went to the 83 county clerks. We said, maybe you'll give us the election data. You uploaded it. Can we have it? And they were, not all county clerks were forthcoming with providing that data. As a matter of fact, we sued and we won when one county wanted to charge for every individual within the single file. Now, getting back to our latest effort, they again, second time, it was unprecedented in November. Now we had a May special election, and unprecedented again in June, they failed to publish the list of voters, and we went out again to all the clerks. Well, what happened when we did that? 3 days later, I got my three fingers here. 3 days later, they come out and they said, hey, all you clerks, we're aware that Michigan Fair Elections sent you a FOIA, and we just want you to know that you shouldn't be giving them the method of voting to us, right? And they actually designed the system that no one can export this data. So they're designing their QVF system, and we confirmed this with many county clerks. They wanted to give us the data, but the design of the system prevents them from exporting it. This kind of information is what we need to get to the Department of Justice, because there's a lot of design, and our clerks are looking bad, like they can't meet the letter of the law because the Secretary of State is handcuffing them and what they can give us. It's utterly shocking. So with that, let me get back to my presentation. There's so much more I'd like to tell you.
Maybe we can pick up next week. You want to finish up here then, and we'll put you on for next week, Tim.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The current lawsuit, actually, I'm on my last slide, Patrice.
Okay.
There's going to be 2 lawsuits that we're doing. And the first one is we're going after the BOE for directing the county clerk to deny the non-exempt data that we asked for. And then Genesee County is what we consider the most egregious, because not only would they not give us the method of voting, they're not going to give us the voter ID. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? And so when we said, what law allows you to restrict that information? And they cited the BOE letter. And so you can't make this kind of stuff up. So that's my presentation, Patrice.
Well done. Thank you, Tim. And I would just say that the Michigan Fair Elections Board of Directors voted to proceed with these. Now, though, we need to look for county clerks that would participate, because we have to have standing through them. So that's it's a two-part claim process, or 2 separate claims, and we're moving forward with both of them right now. So thank you. Thanks a lot, Tim. And I signed the paperwork this morning. So I'm quite sure we're moving forward. Okay, I'm going to move up Kevin Kijewski. He has filed a lawsuit on behalf of Michigan alternate electors. There's sometimes slandered as fake electors, and his suit is against Attorney General Nessel. The lawsuit claims that the Attorney General used her government office and her powers to really wage political warfare, lawfare, so that it's politically motivated, not enforcing just the eyes of the law. So with that, Kevin, take us through what you're doing. And also, you wrote a wonderful op-ed in the Detroit News regarding Chinese Communist Party land grabs in Michigan. So if you want to touch on that too, that'd be great. Thank you. I'm afraid we're not hearing you.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for that kind introduction. I won't take up too much time, but my name is Kevin Kijewski. If you want to say it the Polish way, it's Kijewski. It doesn't matter to me. I represent Cliff Frost, and Cliff Frost is one of the alternate electors back from 2020. Cliff is from Macomb. I actually represent him in 3 different legal matters right now. First, I'm his criminal defense attorney when it comes to the Attorney General trying to attempt to charge all these folks and send them to prison for multiple years. Second, I'm actually the attorney of record defending Clifford Frost in an election suit that was brought by the Democratic electors in Kent County. They're trying to claim that because of what these alternate electors purportedly did, it caused emotional distress and psychological harm and all these other things. We filed a motion to dismiss it. We argued it recently. I'm fairly certain it'll be successful. The third thing that I'm doing right now, and this is what Patrice was able to reference earlier, is that because of the frivolous nature of these criminal allegations and charges, we filed a lawsuit against Dana Nessel in federal court. It's under something called 42 USC 1983. You usually hear these just referred to as 1983 or 83 claims. This is when someone under the color of state law violates your constitutional rights. And here's why we filed that. It's not just because we don't like what Dana Nessel did. It's because Dana Nessel charged these folks, these individuals, when they didn't even commit a crime. And I'm going to explain really quickly. I'm going to take that whole brief that you could get on my website and reduce it to like 2 paragraphs. In Michigan, if you're going to be charged with forgery, if you're going to be charged with fraud, anything related to that, you got to basically prove 2 things. Number 1, that there was a real risk of loss to someone. And second, that the document that someone was putting forward, it purports to be something that it's not. Well, let's start with that second element first. These folks signed their own names on a document and they transmitted it to whom? To the Vice President of the United States or the President of the Senate. Now, if you take a look at that particular document, it says that they are electors. And technically they are, because according to state statute, they were picked by the state party. However, when you take a look at anything else that they submitted, it doesn't actually do anything to comply with federal law, because you need to have certain other things called a certificate of ascertainment. A certificate of ascertainment essentially has, the governor's signature, the seal, all those other things. They didn't submit any of that. They just submitted a document with their own names, and that's it. And second, they actually didn't have any real risk of loss. The people of Michigan had no real risk of loss. We have particular statutes here in place that I outline in my brief. Those statutes talk about, for example, faithless electors. So if the popular vote, whether right or wrong, but it's been certified, says X is the winner, and someone who's an elector votes for Y, then they're automatically disqualified and discounted. So there isn't any, according to the statutory framework we have here in Michigan, there isn't any real risk of loss. But here's the real kicker. The real kicker is the Attorney General in her own words. So she brought these charges about 2 years ago. She went on a Zoom call of sorts with a liberal group out in California talking about why she charged everyone. And what did she say in that call? A few interesting things, and I'm just going to paraphrase. First thing, though, she said is that these electors truly believed that Donald Trump won the election. Now, if that's true, in terms of her belief that they truly believed it, then that gets rid of the specific intent from fraud and forgery. You can't just have, some generalized thing. It has to be very specific. She said it herself on video. It's unequivocally what she said. And that shows that there's a bad faith prosecution afoot. But that's not all. I feel like Monty Hall, and I'm like, what's behind door number 2? Behind door number 2 is actually you have the Attorney General say, what? Well, when it comes to the charging decision in Ingham County, we did it because it's a Democratic county and I'm likely to secure a conviction. I've never heard a prosecutor ever say anything like that. And then remember the Fednapping case where we had some people who were accused of trying to plot and kidnap Governor Whitmer, and they got some of them exonerated or acquitted, I should say. She said that in Antrim County, those individuals, it was because of only a Republican county why they got off. They were Republican jurors. I mean, if you have the chief law enforcement officer of the state looking at things through a political lens and being so brazen as to say on a call with hundreds and hundreds of liberals, and I guess someone recorded it. I don't know how that happened and how that got out there, but that's a very bad thing. She doesn't care. She doesn't think that there are consequences. So that's really, in total, why we have the basis for this lawsuit. How are we in the Supreme Court right now? Well, we filed this lawsuit way more than a year ago in the Western District. And the judge basically took his sweet time and said, nope, I don't like this. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We went to the Sixth Circuit. They took their sweet time. And then they basically said, I don't know. You want us to adopt Fifth Circuit precedent in the Sixth. And, the federal district courts with our all organized by circuits were in the Sixth. The Fifth is basically like right next door and encompasses Texas. We wanted them, without getting into all the nerd talk and stuff, apply the law from the 5th and put it in the 6th, which would allow this case to move forward. And they said, we're not doing that. So because there's a circuit split, meaning that you have different circuits applying the law differently about how to review a case like this, that's how we're in front of the Supreme Court. So we filed something called a writ of certiorari, or for short, we call it a cert petition. We're asking the court right now to review this and to agree to actually accept this for oral argument. If that happens, we'll find out in about like 6-7 weeks, because the Attorney General's office or department has to reply, and then we're going to have to issue a response, and all these other things run back and forth. But as well, I know this is a nonprofit, non-political organization, but I just happen to be running for Attorney General, and that's all I'm going to say. And if you want to, if I may, share my screen, is that okay for just a second?
Sure.
Okay. I have it. And I normally don't use WebEx. I normally use Zoom, so I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, here we go. All right. Are you guys able to see that right now?
No, sorry, not seeing it.
Oh, here it is. It's not coming up. That's okay.
What is it you're trying to show?
Oh, I'm just trying to show my Twitter account. So if people want to learn more about the lawsuit or more about me or anything else, they could go to my Twitter account. It's my, @ my first name, and then my complicated Polish last name, or phonetically Kijewski, just one thing. You have links to the lawsuit. You have links as well, recently links to the op-ed in terms of the CCP land grab. I have another one actually coming out. I think it might be coming out actually technically later today or tomorrow on the Midwesterner, all about the citizen-only ballot voting amendment initiative. So I am completely in favor of that. And then I also had one in ranked choice voting I did about like 2-3 weeks ago, and I tried to explain the dangers of all that. That's on the Midwesterner as well. But with that, Patrice, I'm done unless you want to open the floor to questions, or if there's time. If there's not, that's absolutely okay.
Well, great, thank you. And Tim, put your Twitter handle, X handle, into the chat, so anybody wants to take a look. You're right. It's right there.
There is the op-ed right there on the screen. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Ranked choice voting. And the date on that looks like it was July. I'll tell you what, is that, Jeff, put the link to that article. It looks like you already did, so never mind. Thank you.
Yep, it was
All
July
right.
8th, and then here's the Detroit News.
Yep, this is a good one too. This is a really remarkable article, and they're both in the chat now, apparently, or they will be. Thank you very much, Jeff. All right, let's go back actually to Tracy. Tracy is our social media leader, and she has been doing wonderful things, and now we think we're ready to play some of those. So go ahead, Tracy.
Hi, sorry, I think I'm just having internet connections, but Isaac's gonna play some of the videos. I wanted to pull up the last 2 weeks. We've had a couple videos. One, depending on which one he pulls up, is explaining what was going on with the petition signatures for the valid language of getting it went through the legislative first. It's kind of like, it explains it all. It's very detailed about how it went through the legislative. They didn't vote on it. Then it became the ballot initiative. Petition language was all submitted. So just kind of informing everybody as to what's going on when it comes to those.
Isaac, can you pull it up?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Just
Go ahead.
a sec.
Tracy's talking about ranked choice voting, I assume, right?
No, I'm actually not talking. I'm talking about something completely different, surprisingly. So
okay.
The voter ID initiative, because
Thank you.
just kind of informing everybody on everything that's going on. And this was one that I thought was a good one to play because it's very informative.
In 2024, there is absolutely no doubt that non-citizens were able to vote. The system did not work. We ought to be able to verify whether someone is a citizen in order for them to vote. It's not rocket science. It's not always simple, but it can be done.
Secretary of State's office has found 15 potential non-citizens who allegedly cast ballots in the November presidential election in Michigan.
This morning, the House of Representatives Election Integrity Committee voted to pass House Joint Resolution B. Similar to the Federal SAVE Act, it proposes an amendment to the state constitution requiring people to show proof of citizenship when registering to vote.
The joint resolution got support from more than half of the state house, but less than the 2/3 needed for a constitutional amendment.
The board approved summary language for a proposal that would require citizenship verification to vote in Michigan. With the language now approved, the group can now start collecting signatures to add the proposal to the 2026 November ballot.
So it's just kind of like a rundown of like very quickly how everything progressed from how they tried to get it through the legislative that didn't work. And then you had the groups coming up with getting the ballot language approved, and now that they can go out and collect signatures. So it's just one of the many issues, you know, that they have ballot petitions out there for. And then the other one, there was another clip from the Election Integrity Committee. And this one was highly viewed on TikTok.
There are real threats to our democracy looking forward to 2026. And so I'm just wondering, why are we not discussing that? And why are we not preparing for future elections? Instead, why are you here today looking backwards and relitigating past elections?
So quick, you know, videos like that do very well on all social media platforms, but it did really well on TikTok. And I think it's because in a way you're just kind of pointing out some of the things that was said, and it was very, you know, you're going to get a lot of people that from both sides of the aisle that have issues with it. Or, I mean, a lot of Republicans on TikTok made comments about, I think, you know, it's not a democracy, but what you're trying to do is focus on her words. So it's not even about like the word democracy or something like that. And it's just more about focusing on what she said. And it's like, is that what she believes? You know, is this really, you know, you can't look at the past. Like, how do we fix it? So, you know, a lot of people will get hung up on her word instead of focusing on the whole thing as a whole, you know, the whole, everything she said. But that one was doing very well on the TikTok platform. And I think it's because it was 15 seconds.
So how many do you call them views on TikTok? I'm not familiar with TikTok, actually. I don't use it anyway. I'm familiar with it. But how many plays did it get?
A lot of people. That one, I believe, was over 3,000. And that's what I like to put clips of her on TikTok, because she has a TikTok account and she has a lot of followers, but her videos don't ever get over really 1,000 views. So hopefully it'll, you know, get us more in that algorithm where we can be getting hundreds of thousands of views and get something to go viral there.
All right. And thanks. Do you have others to report on, Tracy, or is that it?
Those are the only two that I had pulled up.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you. If people were asking if you could put the links in the chat, because that is one of the things that I'm sure Tracy would want to say is when you see Michigan Fair Elections or a PIME social media post, please share it. It helps a lot. You know, there's the 9 degrees of separation where eventually we would reach everybody if everybody shared.
And I'm going to put all of the social media in there so that way they can get to all of the accounts.
Oh, good. That's right. And by the way, these meetings are recorded and they're on Rumble too. So thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to jump in here a little bit, and Jeff will be next. But I want to announce our All-Star Award winner. This is the person who's done a lot for the organization. He came in reserved, really thinking about how he could help, learning the ways that he could get involved with election integrity. And this person is Alan Dunst, who will be presenting here next. Alan is this week's All-Star Award winner within our organization, and we're very grateful. He'll be getting a letter from us as well as challenge coins. I know I've explained what challenge coins are, how special they are. And Alan, let me just read his background a little bit. because Alan has also stepped forward to lead our statewide Clerk Liaison program. And this is so important because, you know, all the work that Souls the Rolls folks do won't come to anything if the clerks don't implement it. So that is such an important link to be able to have clerks trust us and work with us. And Alan is a perfect candidate, well, a perfect leader for that function because he's focused. He knows what it's like to be a clerk liaison. He knows Souls the Rolls. He's been working in that area. So I'm very pleased to give him the All-Star Award for the week, as well as to announce that he'll be leading the clerk liaison program. So like many in the group, Alan became more aware and active in the wake of the dubious results and handling of the 2020 election. He was able to become more active following his retirement a year later and helping a local conservative activist group becoming introduced to other organizations, including Michigan Fair Elections. Through his participation, Alan became more active and first as a poll challenger, then as a poll worker, which is an election inspector, and in various jurisdictions. So as the 22 elections loomed on the horizon, he became active with Check My Vote and then began leveraging his analytical skills to identify invalid and duplicate registrations. Having worked primarily in Kent County roles in 2020 and 2024 through 2024, he began evaluating statewide data beginning in 2025 and has contacted over 700 clerks throughout the state, investigating over 10,000 potential duplicate registrations. So this is a man who knows what he needs to do, and he does it. We're very grateful to have you here with us, Alan. And I hope you'll say a few words to us here and also talk about the Clerk Liaison program, Alan.
Okay, well, thank you, and thank you, and thank you. I mean, this, aside from the lawsuit for Whitmer, I'm not sure anyone's a bribe presented so closely to the actual reward in the history. But thank you for the honor and thank you for the additional responsibility.
I would just like to add, Alan, that you accepted the position before you were aware of this award.
That is true. That is true.
So it's in no way.
That is true. That did not influence my decision.
That's right.
So so real quick, I'll just run through a quick a couple notes here. I do want to thank the work that Shelley has been doing up to this point and getting the things started. The lists of responsibilities and aspirational objectives of this position are quite daunting. I'm going to be working, and currently I'm working to try to simplify and determine a focus and maybe delegate some of the other things to try to make things work get as much done as we can, basically. The scope is pretty intense. There are over 1,400 clerks in the state. As I mentioned, so Patrice mentioned, I have sent emails to a bunch of them, a lot of them, asking for them to update their duplicate records. And on the whole, you know, from coming from a stranger, you know, my hit percentage, I mean, I've gotten positive responses from 10% of them, actual active changes from 25% of them. And hopefully we can improve upon that, and hoping the next round of QVF data will kind of bear that out. So we get, like I said, we got 1,400 clerks. Last I checked with Isaac in terms of number of liaisons we had, I had a list of 17. I believe we have more than that. Clearly, we need more than that. And so that will be one thing that we'll be trying to address and trying to get, you know, people in place to act as these liaisons. And for those who aren't aware, that's particularly important because under Michigan law, specifically MCL 168 512. If you want to challenge a voter based on particularly residence, see, you have to live in the jurisdiction with that voter, and so you need to be in the jurisdiction. So that's why a one-to-one relationship would be the best. Let's see here. I will be, as I mentioned, I'll be working with Shelley, Isaac, to get myself up to speed and see what capabilities we have currently. I am looking for input from current liaisons, as well as county leads, etc., as to what they have in mind as being objectives and methods that we can use going forward. So hopefully, when we have our next meeting, which I'm guessing will be next week, we can kind of hash some of that out. Amongst the things that I'm hoping to do is, first of all, establish a web portal on the MFEI webpage for clerks to be a resource to them. And I'm hoping to have their input in trying to build a partnership, a bridge with them. So that's kind of another thing that I don't think we have on our list that I would really want to pursue. So we'll see how it goes. I appreciate your vote of confidence and your patience as I try to fulfill that current objectives.
Well, thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. It's good to have you on board. I called Alan and I said, hey, Alan, I've got an opportunity for you. He said, opportunity? What do you mean? And he stepped forward. So thank you very much, Alan. Appreciate it. Okay, Jeff. Jeff's got a lot of news to bring to us. I'm going to have to ask you to keep within the time frame if possible, because we need to have room for Jackie. Jackie's got lots of updates too. So go ahead,
Okay.
Jeff.
I'll be rocking and rolling here really quick. So basically what we're talking about is poll workers, all right? The Michigan Supreme Court recently ruled that the RNC has standing to force all jurisdictions to achieve party parity in election workers. As we pointed out in earlier articles, parity has been very weak, and here is the MFE article talking about it. When the suit is successful, and it will be, this I will obligate both parties, understand this, to make an effort to provide workers to that jurisdiction. So in the case of Detroit, they're going to want the workers, and we're going to have to provide the workers. So it's kind of like the dog that caught the car. Okay, now Detroit says, all right, I need 500 conservative workers. Bring them to me. And that's what we're going to do. So PIME, working with MSC last year under a court memorandum of understanding, we provided conservative poll workers for the November 2024 election. We had a very late start, but we were able to place workers. And we've continued this effort in 2025. Detroit has hired more conservative workers and has seriously upgraded the training. I have answered the call, and many of us on this call has answered the call too, and we appreciate it very much. There'll be more opportunities for workers in the city of Detroit come November election. The MCC website has a link to sign up. We can track the status of hiring. And as you can see, if you go to the Michigan Conservative Coalition, you'll see their front page. Sign up to be an election worker. Right there it is. Sign up today. Detroit is making an effort to achieve parity. They're trying to get ahead of the curve.
Hey, Jeff, I hate to interrupt, but it's on our front page in Pure Integrity Michigan Elections too, to sign up.
So okay, I've been chastised.
No, you're not chastised, but I just want people to know you're doing it too.
Right. So now, so that's Detroit. Detroit's been the big thing, and we've been doing a lot of work with Detroit, and quite honestly, Detroit has responded positively to many things. I will have to say their training that I went to and other people have gone to is top shelf. There was actually hands-on experience. You were feeding the ballots and knew your positions and everything like that. But we do have areas of other of concern in the state. And we're going to be needing poll workers in underrepresented localities such as Grand Rapids, Flint, Kalamazoo, Ann Arbor, and Dearborn. So, we're going to need to send conservative workers there, and it goes the other way too. Progressive workers are going to be needed in solid red jurisdictions like northern Oakland County. I spoke with our clerk about parity, Lisa Brown in Oakland County, and she says, yeah, if we can get some of the people from the south to go north and north to go south, I'd be in good shape. So, encourage your progressive friends and family to work elections. And elections are only good as the people running them. And we're at top shelf. We're above average here. And, up until 2018 with the propositions, the process was well defined and it worked well. So we could kind of say, okay, it's just automatically running. But with all the propositions that were pushed through, the elections now have gotten a lot more, I'm struggling for the word. I had it and I lost it. But anyway, they've gotten a lot more complicated. So anyway, what I'm asking everybody here, be the solution. Sign up today to be a poll worker wherever you're at. And you'll find it is a very rewarding experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. That's great. We appreciate your help on this. And Jeff was he managed our poll challengers during the 2024 election. We had 144 poll challengers in the 5 largest counties in Michigan. So it was not an easy job. Thank you. All right. Now our wrap-up speaker. Wrap-up speaker today is Jackie Eubanks. So Jackie, fill us in. You are knocking it out of the park with signing up chapters. Thank you.
So I want to give everybody an update on how amazing the volunteers did this past weekend. As we've been saying, the Rank My Vote petition circulators have launched. They were out in force over the weekend. We had groups of volunteers all throughout the state attending events that many of the petition circulators also were attending, handing out our palm cards. So we had people all over the state, which I'm really, really, really proud of everybody who took the time to spend their weekend handing out the palm cards. I know it's not always fun on a summer weekend to be doing that because you'd probably rather be boating or up at the cottage or something, but thank you. This is very important. I wanted to announce that we have Mason County and Allegan County joining our program here with volunteers spearheading these projects. So I tried to get the Mason County ladies on. I don't know if they're here, but I did see Ben Jameson and Marla Weber from Allegan. I know Ben Jameson agreed to take over the projects that we're running in his county with handing out the palm cards, and Marla is working to schedule a town hall. So if both of you, I believe, are still on the call, if you Ben want to update us maybe on how handing out the palm cards went this past weekend in your county, I'm sure everybody would love to hear. And it's okay if you're not here anymore. That's fine. I do also want to let everybody know that Mark Smith, who is our chapter program leader, he's like a leader's leader. He is having a resolution get passed at his local township, right? Right, Mark? Can you tell us a little bit about that and how people in their counties can take a proactive step to get resolutions passed at the local level?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark,
we have the language and
Mark, you've got a horrible connection. You sound like a chipmunk. Oh, it's not going to work, Mark. I don't know. You're probably on who knows what Mark is. He's either on a ladder somewhere or in a cave somewhere. Sorry, Mark, we just can't hear you. Next week.
Yeah, we'll do an update next week, maybe if you have better connection. But I do want to also, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if Mark can even hear us. The feeling's mutual, Mark. Go ahead, Jackie.
Yeah.
Okay, so also with our town hall tour kickoff, we did an event last night in Oakland County. I would like to thank Melanie Nivelt and Annette LeBaron for helping organize that. Very, very helpful organizing the town hall. We had about 50 people in attendance, which means we are expanding our educational outreach. And we even had the executive director, Rank My Vote, attend. And it was very interesting. I think that there was a plot to disrupt. He did have a plant come up and try to ask a question at the end. But Annette LeBaron, who hosted the event, she was very, very effective at shutting anything down that would disrupt the event. I think we had a very positive response in terms of people wanting to get involved and engaged. A lot of people volunteered to pass out palm cards. Annette had printed out a stack of them and people were taking them by the handful. So if you are interested in hosting a town hall in your county, please let me know. I'm going to put my email in the chat just in case you don't have it. You can email me. We'll schedule a town hall. We'll come out. We'll give a big presentation. We'll get 50 people in the room and then they'll sign up to hand out the palm cards and that'll make us more effective. So thank you, everybody.
Great. Oh,
Just to let you know, that was a little flash thing from last night's meeting. You can see Jackie there. And so just a little six-second clip.
okay.
Posted on our MFE website or X account.
Thank you. And just in wrap up too, I gave a presentation to a group on ranked choice voting, and there was a person, an advocate for ranked choice voting there, who said, "May I say a few words?" And the chairman said, "Sure, come on up." Well, that person spoke, and what happened was the audience was just tearing their hair out in frustration. They're asking questions and the answers just don't make any sense. Ranked choice voting, even from the mouths of the people that are trying to profess it, does not work. So thank you for all you're doing, Jackie and Darlene. And I mean, it's a really growing team. The chapters are getting really involved in educating on ranked choice voting. And the more people know about it, the more they see that this is it's a complete upheaval of our current election system that would be devastating. So thank you very much, everybody. Oh, and thanks for joining us. We're up at the top of the hour, and let us know if you have things you'd like to have on the agenda or if you'd like to speak to the group. We do meet a little bit earlier at 11:15 for people. It's less formal. We just chat pretty much then. You're welcome to join then too. So thanks a lot for coming, and thanks a lot for all you're doing. Great work, everybody.